Hello everyone, and welcome to the longest, roundest, and perhaps the most tiring journey we've ever taken. Today, we are spending 10 whole minutes talking about one single thing, the wheel. Now, I know what you are thinking. 10 minutes for a circle? Seriously? But trust me, no. By the end of this, you will realize that the wheel is the only reason you aren't currently dragging a dead bison across your living room floor just to have dinner. Let's go back, way back. Around 6,000 years ago, we meet our main man, Grog. Grog is a visionary. Grog is tired. Actually, Grog is exhausted. His daily routine involves moving heavy rocks, heavy meat, and heavy wood from one side of the valley to the other. His only tools? His 2 arms and a very stubborn ox that refuses to cooperate, and honestly looks at Grog with judgment in its eyes. Grog looks at the world and sees a problem. Everything is heavy. Everything sticks to the ground. Why is the ground so mean? The answer, of course, is friction. But Grog doesn't know what friction is yet. He just knows his back hurts and his knees are making sounds that a human body shouldn't make. Now, pause for a second. Why did Grog's ancestors take so long to solve this? They had needles. They had fire. They even had complex clothing that was surprisingly stylish for the Stone Age. But no wheel. The reason is a bit of an evolutionary mindbender. Nature hates wheel. Think about it seriously. If you look at a bird, you can imagine a plane. If you look at a fish, you can imagine a boat. There's absolutely nothing in the animal kingdom that rolls on wheels. There are no biological axles. There are no creatures with tires. For millions of years, life on Earth moved by walking, crawling, or flying. The wheel is a purely human obsession. It's an artificial dream. Basically, we invented something nature was too embarrassed to try. For a long time, Grog and his friends tried the log method. You've seen it in the movies. You put a big stone on 3 logs. You push it, and as it moves, the log at the back comes out. Then you have to pick up that heavy log, sprint to the front, and put it down again before the stone falls. It was basically a prehistoric CrossFit session, but without the protein shakes or the expensive gym clothes. It was better than dragging, but it was still a nightmare. Grog hated it. He wanted something that stayed under the cart. He wanted a miracle, or at least a nap. And here is where the story gets weird. The first wheel was not for a car. It wasn't for a cart. It wasn't even for moving stuff. The first wheel was horizontal. It was a pottery wheel. Around 3500 BC, in the cradle of civilization, someone, maybe a very lazy potter who just wanted to sit down, realized that spinning clay on a wooden disc made much better bowls. For hundreds of years, let me repeat that, for hundreds of years, humans had the technology of the wheel, but they only used it to make soup bowls. Can you imagine the frustration? Thousands of years of dragging heavy stones on sleds, right past a guy who was sitting there, comfortably spinning a wheel to make a dinner plate. It is the biggest epic fail in human history. It's like having a jet engine and using it as a leaf blower. But then, the eureka moment happened. We don't know his name, but let's call him Grog Jr. Maybe he was a clumsy potter. Maybe he knocked his wheel over and watched it roll away across the dirt. Wait a minute. If it spins lying down, it can roll standing up. This was the birth of the vertical wheel. But, oh boy, the problems were just beginning. You see, a wheel without an axle is just a rolling plate. It goes nowhere. You need a stick through the middle. But how do you do that? If the axle is too loose, the wheel wobbles and falls off, probably crushing Grog's foot. If it is too tight, it won't turn at all. And wood on wood creates heat. It creates smoke. It creates fire. The first engineers had to learn about lubricant. They had to use animal fat, yes, ancient bacon grease, to keep the wheels turning. This was the world's first high-tech engineering crisis. Imagine the first time a cart actually worked. The noise it made, the creaking of the wood, the smell of the grease. To a person 6,000 years ago, this wasn't just a tool. It was a UFO. It was impossible. It was magic. Suddenly, Grog wasn't just a hunter. He was a driver. But these early wheels were heavy. They were solid chunks of wood held together by copper bit. They were slow, and if you hit a pothole, the whole thing would shatter into toothpicks. It took another 1,000 years of broken axles and spilled grain to invent the spoke. By carving out the heavy middle and leaving only thin wooden bars, the wheel became light. It became fast. And when humans make something fast, the first thing they do is go to war. Typical humans, right? Enter the chariot. The chariot was the fighter jet of the ancient world. If you had wheels with spokes, you were a superpower. You could move faster than any man could run. The wheel didn't just move food, it built empires. It allowed the Romans to dominate the world. Without the wheel, the Roman Empire would have been just a small village with very tired messengers and very sore feet. But let's think bigger. What if the wheel was never invented? Imagine a world where we never figured out the circle. No gears, no pulleys, no clocks, no engines. We would be stuck in a permanent Bronze Age. Our cities would be tiny, because you can only feed as many people as you can carry food for. The wheel didn't just carry our bodies, it carried our ideas. It was the original internet. As the centuries rolled on, we got even more creative. We stopped just rolling on the ground. We put the wheels in rivers to catch the energy of water. We put teeth on the wheels and created gears. Every single thing you see today. The watch on your wrist, the fan in your room, the hard drive in your computer, is just a very complicated version of Grog's rolling log. We are a species that is obsessed with making things spin. Even now, in the age of space travel, we haven't moved past the wheel. We have rovers on Mars, and guess what? They have wheels. We conquered the ground. We defeated friction. We took a shape that belonged to the gods, the perfect circle, and we dragged it down into the mud to do our work. So, next time you are sitting in your car, or even just rolling your office chair to the kitchen to get a snack, think of Grog. Think of the 6,000 years of broken wood, the ancient bacon grease, and the simple, beautiful genius of the people who came before us. They didn't have computers, but they had the vision to see a tool in a simple shape. We moved from the caves to the stars, and we did it all on the back of a spinning piece of wood. In a long road, and I'm glad you were here with me to explore it. As for Grog, well, he's finally sitting down, watching the world roll by. And that is how a simple circle changed everything. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. But if you didn't like it, feel free to hit that dislike button. Just make sure to leave a comment and tell me why so I can improve. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.